Looking for the next big thing in gaming? Well, it's only a few clicks away at GoldenNuggetCasino.com. GoldenNuggetCasino.com already has the largest selection of online slots in the Garden State, and now you can play your favorite table games with the very first statewide online live dealers in the U.S. It's called Golden Nugget Online Live Dealer. All of the dealers have their own unique personalities talking to you as they deal the cards. Live Dealer is broadcast live from an exclusive studio at the Golden Nugget Atlantic City and streaming directly to you, the player, on your smartphone or your laptop. And as long as you're within New Jersey limits, you can play from wherever you happen to be or on the go. Tablet, phone, or desktop, wherever you are, you can enjoy the live dealer experience. Play Golden Nuggets Online Live Dealer today in real time, 7 days a week, now from noon to 3 a.m. Blackjack, roulette, baccarat, all live in real time on GoldenNuggetCasino.com. Get started today at GoldenNuggetCasino.com and take part in the newest and most unique online gaming experience a casino can offer. Golden Nuggets Online Live Dealer. Truly the next evolution of online gaming. Must be 21 years or older. New Jersey only. Problem gambler. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I am Dave Weishuttle, joined as always by my co-host and producer Doug Weishuttle. Doug, hey, how you doing?
I am doing good. We're in what feels like day 95 of a sprinkler system saga here, but really it's only about 2 weeks without a real studio.
We had construction people come in, but they're working as we speak, so that's always good.
Yeah, it's always nice to be able to try and get a show in while you hear hammering, industrial blowers, all that stuff going on in the background. Hopefully it doesn't translate into what you're hearing on the air right now, but we just had the divisional playoff round for the NFL. Some great games.
Great games. I mean, we had 3 great games.
Well,
we was a blowout.
We had 3 great games, and one team didn't bother to show up over in Foxborough. That was interesting. That's what was going to be. Everyone thought it was going to be 13.5-point spread. They beat them by twice that.
Yeah, Patriots beat them by twice that.
Yeah, well, thank God for Tennessee. They were the laugher of the weekend, but the other games were great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hey, congratulations to Minnesota. Wow, what an ending. What an ending, boy.
That might have been one of the best games I've ever seen.
You know, when they have to get a lot of yards, the defensive backs have to play back. They were too far out.
I just don't understand what the kid was thinking. He didn't even bother looking at him. Well, I can understand his thought processes.
He feels bad enough.
But you know what? It's one of those things. Great weekend for the NFL. Dumb week for the NBA.
I don't know what the hell's going on with the NBA. I think the league has to get involved with some of these problems here with players against the referees, then players against other players. I mean, that fight the other night was ridiculous. What they call it now?
Well, see, that's the thing.
These catchy terms now.
Well, everyone's jokingly referring to it as Breachgate.
Breachgate.
It was the Rockets and the Clippers. Quickly recap, it all started when Blake Griffin was running down the court, bumped into Mike D'Antoni. Kind of looked accidental to me, but you never know with these things.
Yeah, well, the NBA deemed it accidental, so I guess that's...
Griffin and D'Antoni exchanged words. Then Ariza got into it after that. And all through the game, they were going back and forth. They were all chippy all the way through. And then after the game, Ariza, Chris Paul...
It was Gerald Green and
also James Harden.
James Harden, yeah.
They all went to the back entrance, the hidden way to get into the Clippers locker room because Chris Paul used to be a Clipper. This was his first game back.
Okay, yeah.
And it was interesting. They had their center and banging on the front door of the locker room while they went around the back.
Well, I guess the guys who got the 2-game suspension was Trevor Ariza and Gerald Green. And I guess they were the guys that were actually trying to get into the locker room. And I guess the story coming out of the NBA and some sources is that Chris Paul and James Harden were the guys that were trying to defuse the whole situation. But I'm not sure how that worked out.
Luckily for Chris Paul, he's head of the NBA Players Association, or one of the heads of the NBA Players Association.
Well, hopefully then he was trying to defuse.
Well, regardless, that's how they characterize it. So that was stupid. I don't see millionaires actually fighting.
But but as I said, Ariza and Green got 2-game suspension each. So.
These guys did this off the court for fighting, and they got 2 games. But there's no rhyme or reason to doing anything on the court when there's fighting. The NBA penalty system is all screwed up, I think. They got to figure that out, because off the court, on the court, I don't know. It's just one of those things.
Well, there's a lot more stuff, so let's take a ride on the Turnpike and see what's going on.
Exit 1.
We're going to start off with some sad news. The voice of college football, Keith Jackson, passed away last week.
Very sad, very sad.
89 years old. Started in radio in 1952, broadcasting Washington State games. Moved over to ABC in 1966, when the network first got the rights to the NCAA football games. He spent 50 years in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, he was part of my Saturday afternoons in my childhood, and I'm sure everyone else is like that. It was just, he was the voice of autumn for me.
Well, if you were born in the 60s and 70s and 80s, you grew up listening to him.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
Now, wait. I know you have a whole bunch of facts in front of you. I can't see that far away. Someone told me he was the first announcer for Monday Night Football?
Yes, he was.
He was. All right.
He also nicknamed the Rose Bowl the granddaddy of them all.
Will
Nelly. There you go.
Oh, Nelly.
And I wrote these down because there's just too many stats and facts about what he's done in the past. He worked 11 World Series. He worked 10 Winter and Summer Olympics, did auto racing, traveled to 31 countries because of Wide World of Sports. He was the first play-by-play for Monday Night Football in 70. He called Bucky Dent's home run against the Red Sox in 78 and called Reggie Jackson's 3-run home run game in the 77 World Series.
Wow.
National Sportscaster of the Year 5 times, and his final game was the 2006 Rose Bowl, the Vince Young Texas Longhorn games where they beat Matt Leinart.
Which was a great game.
Yeah, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush.
And it was great because he called that last play. That's how good it was. That when Young scored that touchdown. So that was unbelievable.
He'll be missed.
Exit 2.
Now, this could just be me, but I seem to be fascinated with the Golden Knights. I'm picking out these stories all the damn time.
Well, before you say this story, and I think I know what you're going to go to, someone actually called them the greatest expansion team of any sport. And you know what? I think it's a little premature, but they had one hell of a half season. So, but go ahead, go with your...
This story is the result of basically nobody on the ice being able to beat the Golden Knights. They had to bring in the Army.
Oh, the Army.
The Army is contesting their trademark application for their logo.
So the Army is contesting the Golden Knights bid.
They're filing what's called an opposition to a trademark.
Okay.
Us being attorneys, we know this stuff, but general public, sometimes this is boring, but it's kind of interesting.
And this is not in court that you would know. It's in the trademark office down in Washington, D.C.
The team is in Vegas. This is happening on the other side of the country in Washington, D.C. So the Army is claiming that the Golden Knights logo, which is black and gold with a knight's head on it, is too similar to the parachute company that they have. I'm talking about paratroopers, not parachute company. They don't make parachutes. It's the Golden Knights parachute company for the U.S. Army. They're black and gold, and their logo has a knight on it too.
I read this story during the summertime when they picked out the name, and I knew there was going to be some problem, but it dropped out of the news, and I thought they had this all settled. I thought it was all agreed upon, that everything was hunky-dory, and don't worry about it, and everything's worked out.
That's what the situation. This has been around for a year now.
Unbelievable.
Even before they hit the ice, they had issues with
that's
their
when
mark.
I read it. I thought since they hit the ice, I figured, okay, this was all settled.
Well, this is new for the Army to get involved. Before, it was another team. It was actually a Canadian team. They couldn't get their Knights thing. They had to go Golden Knights.
Okay.
So, and this is the statement from the team, which I think is the perfect smart-ass comment right back at the Army. We are not aware of a single complaint from anyone attending our games that they were expecting to see the parachute team and not a professional hockey team.
Can I just say, as a PR perspective, this is awful for the NHL to contest the Army. Don't go after the Army. Don't.
You mean antagonize?
It's just bad form. We got to take the Army to court.
No, the Army's taking them to court.
Well, yeah, but then they're going to shoot back at the Army, to speak.
Regardless of whether or not they win this opposition against the Army, they're still able to use the name. It's just, they're not going to be able to get a trademark in it. They don't care. They just launched a line of red and white wines that are sold at the stadium called VKG wines with the Golden Knights logo on it.
Okay.
So they're doing well no matter what.
Exit 3.
We just finished the divisional rounds of the NFL playoffs, and 3 of the 4 games were won by less than elite quarterbacks. And this has started everybody debating whether or not you need an elite quarterback. You had, on one side, Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, and Ben Roethlisberger, beaten by Case Keenum, or teams led by Case Keenum, Blake Bortles, and Nick Foles. Everyone's wondering now, do you really need an elite quarterback to win in this league? I think that's a BS argument.
It's stupid because because they lost one game, and all of a sudden, these guys have been great for a decade, and they've put their teams in position to win for a decade. And now people are saying, well, we really don't need them. Of course you need them. Of course you need elite quarterbacks.
You need them. I don't know if elite is. You need an above average to a very good quarterback with an elite defense, which is what some of these teams are. Nick Foles is a great quarterback. I don't care what anyone says. He's better than average. He's above average. Nick Foles is a starting quarterback. He actually had the highest passer rating for 1 year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no.
Case Keenum is.
I watched the game where he got 7 touchdowns in a game, tying that record.
And quite honestly, Case Keenum has put together a year that rivals Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, Matt Ryan, even Tom Brady.
Can they do that over a long period of time?
Keenum did it all year.
Well, yeah, but that's not what I mean. I mean over years. I mean, if you're great over years, that's what makes you elite, and that's what allows your team in the best position to win.
Well, the only one that is nowhere near elite is Blake Bortles, and
okay, well he's young.
He's had his moments. So I don't see why everyone's making this debate.
Exit 4.
Philadelphia has now proven once again they have the best damn fans on the planet.
I hate this story. I got to tell you, as a Philadelphia fan, there's one more knock against us now.
I'm not going to say the fan's name that did this because it's stupid enough. This happened before the playoff game against the Falcons. He was trying to get in. He showed up at the gate drunk, intoxicated. I'm sorry, however you want to phrase it. He showed up intoxicated, could not produce a ticket to get in. The stadium personnel asked him to leave, escorted him off the grounds, and instead of just going home or to a local bar to watch the game, he goes over to a mounted policeman and begins punching the horse repeatedly in the head, in the neck, in the shoulders, and he also hit the officer too.
Yeah, so I guess he's charged with assault of a policeman, cruelty to animals,
aggravated assault.
What a jerk! I mean, this is stupid. And unfortunately, people around the country are going to say, "Yeah, typical Philly fans."
The policeman and the horse are okay.
Yeah, okay, that's great though.
Now,
but it's
this is the problem here. A Philadelphia fan did this while Lane Johnson over there for the Eagles is selling his underdog shirts, or Eagles being underdog shirts, for charity,
which is great.
And it's one of those things where that story is getting lost sometimes because of idiots like this.
Yep.
So we'll see exactly what happens with that. But good luck on the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Oh, absolutely. But I get to the point where I almost couldn't watch that last play. So I hope they win. I hope they win big.
Good luck to them. So good luck to all the teams. But before we go to the break, contact the show. Reach out to us on 609-512-6510. That's 609-512-6510. Hit us up on Facebook or Twitter at Turnpike Sports. Email us at info@turnpikesportsradio.com. Also, as always, please go to turnpikesportsradio.com and check out the International Bikini Team Member of the Week. You can order their calendars. They're only $10. You can email them to find out the ordering information at info@internationalbikiniteam.org. And upcoming, we have the injury report. We have our normal police blotter segment. And you've got a very good interview coming up.
Oh, no, absolutely. Poker fans know Adam Small from his website, Pocket Fives. He has started 2 great new websites, NJOnlineGambling.com and PennBets.com, and these websites are all about the huge gambling markets of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. They cover everything from sports betting, online casinos, and daily fantasy sports. In fact, I'm going to interview him regarding daily fantasy sports this time about the Bitcoin Bowl recently held by Fanduel. So stick around. It's a very interesting interview.
All righty, stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
I'm sure everyone has made some sort of New Year's resolution, whether it's to lose weight, work harder at the office, whatever. And we always seem to break them a few weeks into the year. Well, here's one resolution you need to make and keep. Getting a good night's sleep with MyPillow. They're the most comfortable pillows on the market. Its patented interlocking fill adjusts to everyone and their sleeping habits. I use MyPillow all the time. I sleep great at night and wake up pain-free. I even travel with MyPillow. And now there's a great new deal being offered by the folks at MyPillow. For a limited time, House of Cards listeners can receive a very special offer. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the 4-pack special tab, and use promo code CARDS or call 1-800-319-7913 to take advantage of this 4-pack special. You'll get 50% off 2 MyPillow premium pillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. MyPillow.com with promo code CARDS. That's promo code CARDS to take advantage of this 4-pack special. Better sleep starts with MyPillow.
Have you ever wanted something so bad that you do just about anything for it? Well, that's exactly how we feel about you. That's right. AdamandEve.com wants you so bad. We're giving you 10 free gifts with your first order. You heard me right. That's 10 free gifts to spice up your love life. First, you'll get a sexy surprise for her. Second, an adventurous toy for him. And third, a little something we know you'll both enjoy. Plus, you'll get 6 full-length adult movies on DVD. And number 10, free shipping on your entire order. That's 10 free gifts for you shy types who've never tried Adam and Eve before. Just go to AdamandEve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy, a sexy piece of lingerie, or anything you desire. Just enter offer code BABE16 at checkout, and you'll get all 10 free gifts, including free shipping. That's offer code BABE16. That's BABE 16 at AdamandEve.com.
Hey, this is Doug Weishuttle of Turnpike Sports with your Turnpike Sports Weekly Injury Report. Some NFL injuries to report on this week. According to USA Today, Buffalo Bills wide receiver Zay Jones played the majority of the season with a torn labrum and underwent surgery successfully this past week. Minnesota Vikings safety Andrew Zendeo has been placed in the league's concussion protocol after being hit by New Orleans Saints receiver Michael Thomas during the Saints-Vikings divisional playoff game. The officials had initially threw a flag on the play, but then picked it up and ruled that Thomas's hit was legal. Zendeo's status for the NFC Championship game against the Philadelphia Eagles is questionable. The Tennessee Titans suffered a slew of injuries in their game against the New England Patriots. Quarterback Marcus Mariota suffered a strained quad, which limited his mobility for most of the game. Offensive tackle Jack Conklin suffered a torn ACL and did not return to the game, while tight end Jonnu Smith sustained a torn MCL during the game. In the NBA, Philadelphia 76ers guard J.J. Redick will be out for at least 10 days due to a leg injury suffered in the Sixers' win over the Toronto Raptors. Following the game, an MRI revealed that Redick sustained a small crack in the fibular head of his left leg. Redick will be re-evaluated in about 2 weeks. Atlanta Hawks forward DeAndre Brembury will miss a bit more time with what has been called a nagging groin injury by the team. Brembury has been dealing with the injury over the last 2 weeks and, according to the Hawks, is not close to returning. A tentative date, however, of January 22nd has been set as a potential return date to the team for Brembury. This is Doug Weishuttle for Turnpike Sports. Come back next week, and in the meantime, let's be careful out there.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. Dave Weishuttle with you here, joined by Doug Weishuttle, who I believe now has a update to the injury report that we just heard.
Just one quick one. Kawhi Leonard for the San Antonio Spurs. The only guy that seemed to be able to defend against the Golden State Warriors for the Spurs, and I think he went out last year in the playoffs.
Yep.
He's out again. He's out indefinitely. He is not healing as he should be, so they're shutting him down for a while. And Popovich also said that there's a partial tear in his left shoulder now too.
Wow!
So he's got a mess going on, and he's out indefinitely. And quite honestly, they were the only team I think could have actually taken care of Golden State. If he's not back by the playoffs, I think everybody's got to just deal with Golden State in the finals again.
Well, now it's time for my favorite portion of the show. That's right, the Turnpike Sports Police Blotter. The Turnpike Sports Police Brawler is brought to you by Bean Genius. Over 2,000 specialty blends of coffee available at your fingertips at beangenius.com. Have some of the best coffee in the country delivered right to your door each month when you subscribe to Bean Genius. And now get 10% off your subscription when you sign up at beangenius.com using our promo code PIKE, P-I-K-E, at checkout. Bean Genius, the smart specialty coffee subscription service.
Let's go right into the first entry into this week's police blotter. We have former NBA player Dennis Rodman.
Oh, boy. What happened?
Nothing new. Charged with DUI.
DUI?
Car pulled over.
Isn't he asking to be sent over to North Korea to negotiate on our behalf? As, just...
Well, I think he's got to stop having this happen.
Yeah,
before,
wow. A
He's
lot of pressure on him, I guess.
Charged with DUI. Car pulled over for a violation. Traffic violation. He was administered a sobriety test, which he failed. Cooperated with the police, spent 7 hours in jail until the police felt he was sober enough to go home.
So I'm assuming were there charges?
DUI.
Just DUI, okay.
And this is his second DUI.
So the cops just let him sleep it off, huh?
Let him sleep it off.
Didn't post bond or bail
Nope.
or nothing.
They
like
let him go home.
Interesting.
Next up. Denver Broncos wide receiver Carlos Henderson, charged with possession of a controlled substance, first offense.
Okay.
Now, this is actually kind of interesting. He was a passenger in a vehicle that was stopped for speeding. As the cops were talking with them, getting the information, they smelled a strong odor of marijuana, searched the car. All the while, both passengers are denying they've smoked or have anything to do with marijuana. They allegedly found multiple pieces of raw marijuana in the car, as well as a marijuana cigar inside a water bottle in the car.
What's a cigar? Marijuana
it's
cigar?
A big joint.
Just a big joint?
Gets better. They searched Henderson, the wide receiver. They found a thick green residue on his tongue.
Okay.
So he readily admitted
Well,
at that
that's some
point.
good searching.
That's a detailed search.
That's a good search.
So he later admitted to smoking earlier in the day, arrested for possession of a controlled substance. The driver was only issued a citation for speeding.
Wow.
This is his very first year in the league anyway. He spent the entire year on injury reserve because of a thumb injury. This is his first professional offseason, and it's not starting off well.
Not good. Not good.
Staying in the NFL, Seattle Seahawks defensive back Jeremy Lane, charged with DUI. Basically, no real details have come out of this, but this is a guy known for intercepting Tom Brady in Super Bowl 49.
Wow. Okay.
The Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl.
Yeah,
So
I remember where I was down in Jersey. That's so depressed.
He lost his starting job this season.
They should have run the ball.
Yeah, he lost his starting job, and they tried to trade him, which fell through.
Wow.
So he's not having a good time. Alrighty, next up we have former NHL forward Matt Johnson. Kind of a sad story. He was charged with felony vandalism on New Year's Eve. He was at a Denny's restaurant and caused $1,900 worth of damage.
Normally this would be funny, but like you said, it's a very sad story because does he have some issues with head injuries or mental problems, or I wonder what's going on with him?
According to his parents, he has battled mental illness as well as an addiction to painkillers, and he has had multiple suicide attempts. Basically what he did was he knocked over a Christmas tree, broke a restaurant window at that Denny's. Then he walked across the way to a nearby gas station and stole a cup of coffee and some cigarettes.
Boy, that is... I wonder, concussions are a huge issue with regard to the NFL. I wonder if the NHL will be looking at this story and say, hey, you know what, we have to look at it more closely. And, boy, it's really a sad story. It's nice that his parents are still helping him out.
Well, I don't know if concussion syndrome had anything to do with this. It doesn't say anything about head injuries that he suffered. He just played for 10 seasons in the NHL, and he also is homeless.
Well, yeah. Well, hopefully the NHL can help out one of its 10-year veterans.
The Players Association is aware of it, from what I understand.
Well,
so we'll see what happens.
Well, that's a pretty good organization. I hope they step in and help him.
Last up, we have San Francisco 49ers linebacker Reuben Foster, charged with second-degree possession of marijuana. This just happened. Team is gathering information. No details have come out. He was a first-team All-American for Alabama in 2016, won the Butkus Award. This was just a late addition to the police blotter this time, so we'll see what happens.
Okay.
That's it for this week.
All right, stick around. I'll be back talking with Adam Small, the founder of NJOnlineGambling.com and PennBets.com, and we're going to be talking about Fanduel's Bitcoin Bowl. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports. We'll get back to the show in a few moments, but I just wanted to take some time and tell everyone about Bean Genius, the smart specialty coffee subscription service. Bean Genius sells freshly roasted coffee from some of the best independent coffee roasters in the country. They feature over 2,000 specialty coffee blends, all at your fingertips at beangenius.com. Here's how it works. Head on over to beangenius.com and take their palate profiler test to find out what coffee best fits your taste. Then select from a variety of subscription plans. Every subscription comes with free shipping, and delivery can even be scheduled for once or twice each month. And based upon your review of each coffee blend you try, Bean Genius actually learns your individual taste preferences and then suggests future coffee blends for you. And now you can get 10% off your Bean Genius subscription when you use our promo code PIKE at checkout. Bean Genius offers a variety of subscription plans to suit any coffee lover's needs. Subscribe with Bean Genius today and start enjoying some of the best tasting coffee around. And save 10% off your coffee plan with promo code PIKE. New Jersey's online gambling market is loaded with so many different sites and all kinds of promotions, it's enough to make your head spin like the reels on an old-time Atlantic City slot machine. So how do you make sense of all that information floating out there in cyberspace? Well, you don't have to. That's because the folks at NJOnlineGambling.com have done all of that for you. NJOnlineGambling.com is your complete resource for all the online sites in New Jersey. Which games have the biggest jackpots? NJOnlineGambling.com has the answer. Which sites use PayPal for deposits? NJOnlineGambling.com has the answer. NJOnlineGambling.com is the most trusted guide to the New Jersey online gambling market. Industry news, site reviews, the latest slots, table games, poker, they got it all in one spot. It's the ultimate resource for online players in New Jersey. They even got the best sign-up offers, better than some of the ones being offered by the online casinos themselves. Look, they say bet with your head. So why not do the same before you bet and check out NJOnlineGambling.com, the most trusted resource around for New Jersey's online gambling market. Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. I'm excited to talk to our next guest. You poker fans out there know Adam Small from his amazing website, Pocket Fives. But he's created two new websites that are equally as great, NJOnlineGambling.com and PennBets.com, which cover everything from casinos, online gambling, sports betting, and even daily fantasy sports. And we're going to talk to him about a very interesting subject, Fanduel's Bitcoin Bowl, which was held recently. Adam, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, Dave, thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here.
I got to tell you, Adam, for someone who lives in New Jersey like myself, and I do a lot of work in the gambling business in Jersey and Pennsylvania, I want to thank you for creating these sites. They are chock full of information that is so useful to people in those states and around the country who want to learn more about those markets. But for people who are not familiar with these sites, what is NJOnlineGambling.com and PennBets.com?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for the kind words, Dave. NJOnlineGambling.com is a site that we created a little over a year ago, late 2016. I created with a partner, and the goal of it basically was to be a complete resource about everything that players and industry people alike would need to know about the online gaming industry in New Jersey. And it's mostly focused on casino and poker, but We also have information about the upcoming Supreme Court case, the in-progress Supreme Court case regarding sports betting, and we do some articles about DFS and about other legal and regulatory changes and things that happen. We write a lot about things like the top banking methods, the easiest ways to get money in and out, changes in bonuses on sites and offers, promotions, but also a lot about just industry happenings and what's out there for players. And PennBets.com is in the process of becoming a very similar site, but for the state of Pennsylvania, focused on, again, being a complete resource about that market. We're still kind of building that one out, but it's already got a fair amount of good information on it, and we're working constantly on putting more there.
I gotta tell you, you chose two states that are really at the cutting edge of the gambling business, whether it be online gambling, sports betting, and like you said, daily fantasy sports. And in fact, I know one of your big stories that you covered last week was the Bitcoin Bowl from Fanduel. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Did they actually give out cryptocurrency as a prize?
Amazingly, I guess, for people who follow crypto and who follow Bitcoin, it seemed, I guess, like an inevitability. Cryptocurrency has filled up my personal Twitter timeline over the last couple of years in place of poker and other types of gambling, as I think a lot of professional and serious gamblers have moved from poker and other types of gambling into what I used to call, I guess, currency gambling, where you would, trade currencies between various countries and whatnot. And now they're actually trading these cryptocurrencies that are basically countries that don't have a nation attached to them, but instead are created over the internet for various purposes and are used, I guess, as an investment. I don't fully understand exactly how people view them. They're kind of a new asset class, but they've become very popular, and they're particularly popular for people who gamble online. And so FanDuel tried out this tournament that basically was a standard football tournament on a playoff weekend, but instead of paying out in cash, it paid out in Bitcoin. And by doing it this way, they were able to do what they normally do, which is set the prize pool static ahead of time, but instead of setting a flat number of maximum entries that kind of matched up with that maximum cash prize pool, they basically put out an uncapped entry field. They capped it at $999,999 for a $3 buy-in, but they weren't ever going to get anywhere near that, and everyone knew it. And so it was effectively an uncapped field. I think it was 128,000 people that entered, or something along those lines, created a prize pool, a total buy-in pool of, it was $128,000 that were bought in on the $3 entry. So 40-some thousand people that were playing, and the prizes were worth at the time about $45,000 total. So the rake was about $80,000 in this tournament, and now, of course, Bitcoin has dropped off a whole bunch, as that's a very volatile investment. Now that prize pool is only worth about $27,000, I think, last I checked. So they're trying out a new type of prize, very volatile, but also very hyped up and interesting to a lot of people. And I think a lot of people thought, why not put $3 in and see if I can win something that's worth $15,000. And it seemed to work out great for FanDuel. For the players, maybe not so much, but I'm sure the winners are happy.
But like you said, Bitcoin is everywhere. You can't turn on Twitter or Facebook or the news and not hear about Bitcoin, which leads me to believe, was this a publicity stunt by FanDuel, or was this an experiment of possible things to come down the road in daily fantasy sports?
I think it was not. I wouldn't classify it as a publicity stunt. I would definitely classify it as an experiment. I think that FanDuel has had some pretty well-known struggles over the last year or so in terms of they've lost a lot of market share to DraftKings. Mm-hmm. They used to be the clear leader in the industry, and they're clearly not now. They're the clear number 2. And I think that they've had some trouble with just figuring out where they're going with their business and are trying some new things. And as far as I can tell, from their business perspective, this is a rousing success. They got got a lot of rake out of it, which I think is kind of secondary to learning some things about their user base and clearly running an event that was interesting to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And I would bet that of those 40-some thousand people who entered, that probably most of them were not professional daily fantasy sports players, because I think the pros just wouldn't have seen the value in an event like this. So it was probably a lot of recreational players, maybe some regulars, but also a lot of people who just wanted to try it out and see it, take their shot. And I think that to them is very valuable. They can find a format that is more attractive to novices than to pros.
Do you think the pros were like turned off by? I think I read in actually your article that the rake was like 65% to Fanduel. Yeah. I mean, did that sour a lot of professional fantasy players away from this tournament?
Absolutely. I mean, it's just hard. It's probably impossible for anyone to view this as a profitable venture to enter into a tournament like that with a rake that high. And the ultimate payoff of first prize of $15,000, while a lot for the average person, isn't really that much for the professional daily fantasy sports player. And they would typically be entering many times into the same tournament, not once. So it would be it's a very difficult proposition for a pro to enter a tournament like that. And I think that's kind of the point. That's what FanDuel has had so many problems with, and DraftKings too, with just games getting eaten up heavily by the sharks and new players just churning their funds too quickly and not coming back because it's so difficult. And if they can find formats like this that are attractive to newbies and unattractive to pros, I mean, I think ultimately that's a big part of the goal. And we've seen a lot of the same thing in poker, for that matter, and other peer-to-peer gambling, where the house, as you will, is trying to figure out ways to get more of the people who lose money to have it more end up in the house's pocket and less in winning players' pockets.
Now, FanDuel was the one that did it. I know DraftKings and FanDuel, they're always mentioned in the same sentence. Do you think DraftKings will try something like the Bitcoin Bowl for them down the road, or do you think there was a one-time thing for just FanDuel?
I don't know that DraftKings is going to try it, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if they try some different things, and I think they already have on some level. Mm-hmm. But I definitely would expect both of these companies to experiment with different formats, and particularly with the general idea of trying to create games that are not so dependent on high-volume winning players that need to be fed. And so if they can figure out the solution to that problem, as it is a problem for their business, then I think that they're going to be on a better track to profitability, because both of these companies have gone through hundreds of millions of dollars in investor funds and have not been profitable. And if growth has become somewhat stagnant for them, that becomes a real problem for their business, as they continue to need venture capital, but aren't showing the kind of metrics that attract big investors. So I definitely think that now is the time in that industry where you're going to see a lot more experimentation.
Adam, we're running out of time, but I want to remind everyone to go to njonlinegambling.com and penbets.com to keep up to date about what's going on in these two important gambling markets. Adam Small, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, it's Dave from House of Cards, and I just want to take a moment to talk about our friends at penbets.com. You know, Pennsylvania recently legalized online gambling, so it won't be long before the first online gambling sites start launching across the Keystone State. So if you want to be a player in Pennsylvania, you need a place to go to stay on top of the latest developments, and that's why you need to check out penbets.com. PennBets.com is led by industry experts and provides the most in-depth coverage of this new and exciting online gambling market. News, reviews, the latest slots, table games, poker. At PennBets.com, you'll have everything you need to navigate the Pennsylvania online gambling scene at your fingertips. Where can you play? What's the latest game being offered? Which casino is running which site? You'll find these answers and much, much more at PennBets.com. Pennsylvania is a new market for online gambling, and things happen fast. So you need a resource that's reliable, insightful, and most of all, trustworthy. And that's PennBets.com. That's PennBets.com. Stay ahead of the game with PennBets.com. Now, I'm sure everyone has made some sort of New Year's resolution, whether it's to lose weight, work harder at the office, whatever. And we always seem to break them a few weeks into the year. Well, here's one resolution you need to make and keep. Getting a good night's sleep with MyPillow. They're the most comfortable pillows on the market. Its patented interlocking fill adjusts to everyone and their sleeping habits. I use MyPillow all the time. I sleep great at night and wake up pain-free. I even travel with MyPillow. And now there's a great new deal being offered by the folks at MyPillow. For a limited time, House of Cards listeners can receive a very special offer. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the 4-pack special tab, and use promo code CARDS or call 1-800-319-7913 to take advantage of this 4-pack special. You'll get 50% off 2 MyPillow premium pillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. MyPillow.com with promo code CARDS. That's promo code CARDS to take advantage of this 4-pack special. Better sleep starts with MyPillow.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. Well, our Vedic astrologer is still in Bali. Have you heard from Simon at all?
Simon has told me that while it is difficult to do an actual segment on the air with him while he's in Bali,
it's like 13 hours difference, isn't it?
he will try and get some picks into us. And if he does, I'll put him up on the website, turnpikesportsradio.com. Go to the blog, turnpikesportsradio.com. Click on the blog link and menu segment of the website.
So you junior astrologers out there have to do your own charts for the game. But you can pick up Simon's book, Gambler's Dharma, Sports Betting with Vedic Astrology.
And also go to his website, spirittype.com. You're going to see that book, as well as several other books he's written, as well as you can even take a look and see if there are any services he offers on a personal level for you, too.
But you know what? Since he's not going to give some picks on the air, I'm going to give my picks. I'm going to go all underdog this weekend. I'm going to go Eagles, and I'm going to go Jacksonville Jaguars.
Regardless of what the spread is, the Eagles are not an underdog, I don't think.
I think they're an underdog.
I don't think so. I think if it was Carson Wentz there, they'd be favored.
Oh, well, yeah, but he's not there.
No, but
that's the problem.
You're dealing with quarterback 1A with Nick Foles, so I don't disagree with those picks.
And what are the Jaguars' 9-point underdogs?
9.5. I think it's 9.5 right now.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm still, that's a lot. And
for a championship game.
And who knows? There's reports that Brady hurt his hand. We don't know the reports, how specific they are, but apparently he jammed his hand on a teammate at practice. So,
and it was his throwing hand.
Oh, was it? Okay, didn't know that.
It was on a handoff to a running back.
Really? You know, usually when quarterbacks hurt their hand, it's like the follow-through from a throw and they hit the helmet of the guy in front of them. And I was assuming it was something like that.
No, this was a handoff, and it was circle the wagons time for the entire team. They were saying everything was fine. Doesn't appear to affect him. Of course, there was one source that went to ESPN and said, well, it may affect him slightly during the game. We'll have to see how it goes. This is all probably just smoke and mirrors anyway, because he had the Achilles injury all season long. Last time they went to the Super Bowl, he had some kind of shoulder injury.
Well, he's always on the injury report.
It's over and over.
He's always on the injury report.
Yeah, so I any kind of minor injury with Brady, you know what, don't take that seriously.
By the way, even if he's healthy, that Jacksonville defense is great. And you know what? I don't think it's going to – if the Patriots win, they're not going to – they're not going to win by more than 9.
Well, this will be the third time they're facing a Coughlin team in the postseason.
That's
so
they're
0-2 against Coughlin.
I'm liking my pick every second now.
Well, Coughlin knows how to build a defense, and a defense that can actually beat Bill Belichick. And he's the one who constructed this defense. So it'll be interesting to see. It all depends on what Blake Bortles does, though.
Well, I guess we shall see. So, From all of us here, have a happy playoff weekend for the NFL, and we'll see you next time on the Turnpike.